Digimon Dreamers first came out in Saikyo Jump on October 4th, 2021, and now has been released weekly since June 26th this year, so we're getting close to that chapter 21 where the manga was when it ended its previous publication. After 4 months, it gives us a really good idea of what it's all about. And you know what? It might just be the best thing that Digimon has done in years. This video is going to be about what it is, what interesting ideas it has come up with, and how this goofball of a manga might just actually be good. So, one of the main things that will strike you as soon as you read the very first issue is its tone. And this is something that it has actually carried through. It is funny. I mean, obviously, humor is a bit subjective. Not all the jokes will land for you and for me, but it is lighthearted. It's all about Pulsemon being a crazy partner Digimon about training, literally tying up his partner and dragging him places. Even the fights have weird off-the-wall comments of spitting on each other or doing just the strangest things of cooking meat to make an enemy drool and reveal themselves. Just these crazy things. And you know what? It works. I think it's largely due to the fact that it's such a short thing every time. There's only 9 pages or so to a chapter. They're actually very short, but it's little bite-sized chunks that really work. And I think this really strikes me so much is because of how badly they failed with their last project, Ghost Game. Because Ghost Game was this dark horror season where in the very first episode they're draining the soul and, well, time as they called it, but all this energy and living a shriveled up husk of humans left behind. And then nothing actually mattered. Those problems always just got fixed. And despite being some weird things, there were so few times that the horror things were actually carried through. And those few 2 or 3 episodes where it really did are ones that actually stood out and were good. Where all the rest was just, this is filler with no real point. And to be fair, some people could say that about Digimon Dreamers, especially early on. As we get into a little more of the plot later, as we'll discover, they are trying to do something with it, which is already more plot than Ghost Game had in its entire 67 season episode running. Yeah, no, I'm not still annoyed about this. But yeah, it's just fun. And as for me, I always love my character growth. I love my, interesting villains and characters and stuff, and good plots, and we're getting some of that, but it really just knows what it is at its core, and it embraces that. But speaking of the plot, let's actually get a little bit into what's been going on. The very basic plot is that Ritsu is the human that is summoned to the digital world in order to train his partner Pulsemon. And this is what fuels us for the first 4 or 5 chapters, I believe they call them. And this really allows us to learn about that Ritsu is, well, agreeing to be summoned because he knows that Pulsemon is trying to overcome the curse on his village that prevents Digivolution so he can protect it. So he's willing to help out. He's not exactly the most enthusiastic, adventurous kid, at least not right away. We have to go through a few different small adventures of him running around with Pulsemon, sometimes literally being tied up and not being at all willing to really do some of these things. But they do grow together. And they even meet another human that brings up something that's possibly from the Wonderswan games, and then in order to seek out a cure for the curse, they're going over to Wichelny, and okay, wow, alright, things have picked up a little bit. And now being in Wichelny, trying to learn what's new in that world and fighting off the villains there, it really has some interesting ideas. Which brings up another thing, is that there are, maybe not always new ideas, but things that have just been hinted at and haven't really been explored. Like, one of the main things that happens early on is a partial Digivolution, and they play this up a lot, which is fun. It is a very awkward thing, especially at first when he doesn't really understand it, is that the curse prevents him from fully digivolving. So he has parts of him that he can digivolve to the Bulkmon form, well, not the rest of him. His head, or his arms, or his legs. And this is something that if you could really mix it up with any different Digimon. You know, you could have Zudomon, you know, suddenly Digivolve and have the tiny habit of Marine Angemon. You want to go there? You know, let your imagination run wild. Let me know some funny things that you think down in the comments below of what you could do with partial Digivolutions, whether going up or down. Just anything that really exaggerates the size difference between the forms could be either rather dumb or rather hilarious. Now, this Joe character that showed up, the other human, mentions that assassins are after him from Dimension S. The best thing that I can come up with for Dimension S, it seems that it is tied to the WonderSwan games. And because I've never had an official English translation that I've gotten through and played, I've only been able to read up a little bit on this. And so I believe these are assassins that would probably then be sent by Millenniumon, that this is part of his inner world, and they're trying to connect that? I mean, they could be trying to connect this to other worlds, because if you look in the very first panel, hey look, there's Hero from Ghost Game. So they could be pulling a boy hunters who travel through time and crisscrossing all the different dimensions and realities. Oh boy. Hopefully they don't try to like make that canon, that it's just a fun little thing like they did back then. Because if they try to connect these all together, oh, that's just going to be a headache for all involved. But also the main place they're going, Wichelny, which, in all honesty, I am quite surprised how many Digimon I see there that, you know, are never said to be from Wichelny at all. It just kind of looks like a vacation place that a whole bunch of Digimon went. Because, you know, I wouldn't think of Mojimon and Leomon, you know, necessarily as magical Digimon that would be here. There's actually a very limited list, so I understand why they had to throw a few in there. But really, there's Betamon and just all these Digimon that are odd to see there. And it had me worried, especially initially, because, well, where was the last time we went and looked at another place? Oh yeah, that was in Ghost Game. And we had Never Everland, where in the course of the episode, the place where it's impossible to grow up, we had dozens of Digimon growing up to the adult or champion stage. But this, at least, they are talking about how Digivolution's not really necessarily how they get stronger. It's about magic, being able to power them up. So we'll see if we ever actually even see a Digimon Digivolve there. It could just be you're kind of created at that level, and your only way to grow stronger is not through the typical powering up through Digivolution, but through magic. Now that would be interesting and different, because this is a whole nother world. You can do weird and interesting things with it. And I hope, as we continue on, that that's what we get to see. So, it is a fun anime that's in short little bursts, just like Seekers has been, but it's at least fun. It knows what it is, and it embraces that. It does have at least some plot that it is getting into and embracing, while keeping that joking nature, but at least has more plot than the last season that we were just about. And it has fun ideas with a partial Digivolutions, the Dimension S, Wichelny, all these weird other humans and stuff. There is so many interesting things that they could do with it. And given just a little bit of freedom and some good writers, hopefully they'll actually do something with it, instead of just setting everything up like a demon invasion and never following through. Unless this is where Ferrismon went. He went to Wichelny to invade there instead of the human world, even though that's where he was in Ghost Game. Well, this is enough of me bashing on Ghost Game for now. But if you haven't, look down in the description below. I'll put a link to Digimon Dreamers, and it is a full translation. For those of you worried about Digimon Seekers having a very rough translation, I've had no hard time following this one at all. It has been very clear, very fun, and it's just fun. Enjoy it, because it's been a long time since I've really been able to enjoy what Digimon has given me, and I just want that back. I want to have fun and enjoy. So remember to hit that like button down below and subscribe if you enjoyed and you want to see more Digimon content from me. As always, everyone, remember to be awesome. Till the next one, take care. Bye-bye.